Welcome everyone, Dr. Thor Templar here. I'm going to review the book Lottery and the Law of Attraction, Secret Lottery Strategies and Systems to Effortlessly Manifest Abundance. The second edition, and who is the author of this? Let me see if I can find it. Apparently Nathan Powers. Okay. Well, this is kind of a standard book for those out there seeking general empowerment, understanding how things work with basic consciousness and mind power. There's really nothing new here. If you're already into positive thinking and visualization, this book certainly will not help you. It really has, there are no techniques of any value in here for winning the lottery directly. There's nothing new. There's no tips, no tricks. All the things that experienced players are really looking for. This goes into the mindset you need to have. And of course, having this mindset is relatively important, but it's the usual visualization, positive thinking things, and all of these tend to lack a lot of empowerment unless you're doing them correctly, unless you are tapping into higher. Visualization is very weak. It needs to be empowered. How do you empower it? Well, you have to know how to do that. Positive thinking is really a sham. You always want to be positive about what you're doing in general, but psyching yourself up that this is it, nothing can stop me, is setting yourself up for a giant fall. And this is one of the problems with positive thinking and even visualization when people get too psyched into something. I mean, the positive thinking teachers, which are many, want you to go up to the highest possible mountain in your belief, and this, of course, makes you unstoppable in life. But that's really not true. You're going to have successes and failures, and you have to make sure that you understand this, and even to the point of planning if something doesn't work out. Well, what is your plan if this doesn't work? But of course, you're not giving that plan any kind of energies until you are forced to. Thinking you're going to win the lottery without doing a whole bunch of techniques, without knowing a whole bunch of systems, and without empowering yourself beyond just common visualization, you're going to lose. You need techniques. You need to know what you're doing. You need to follow occult science principles to empower what you're doing. This is all laid out in our occult science wealth and gambling club, which shows you what to do. And there are all sorts of techniques and ways people are increasing their odds to win. And it doesn't necessarily have to be the lottery. It has to be a general investment and gambling in general. And there's a lot better odds than the lottos when it comes to gambling. There are also lots of techniques to test. None of these really are mentioned in this book, and he doesn't go over anything of, little tips of what to do. He's just saying, well, if you visualize and see yourself. Well, this, of course, is basic functioning 101. You do want to see money coming to you. You do want to know that you have won, and then you want to go out and buy. But he doesn't talk about that either. He doesn't talk about first psyching yourself up, directing yourself to different numbers, directing yourself to where to buy scratchers. He really overlooks this by saying just, well, if all these energies are around you, you're going to win. Well, of course, this is not true. But of course, again, this is basic success 101 of visualizing, believing that you are going to win, and then allowing other energies to guide you to the proper place, time, numbers, etc. But as I said, this isn't emphasized enough, and while this is a nice little book, it's right to the point. It's inexpensive. I believe it's $9. It has almost 100 pages, which is just, I read this in less than an hour. It's very easy to read, get the basics. So if you're a beginner, like everything, understanding, which this isn't quite the law of attraction, but understand the law of attraction of how you draw things to you, how you create energies around you that then to manifest. If you're not familiar with any of this, this book is a great introductory guide. It talks about that. And the problem, even there, it's very low level. So this is a super beginner book, and as I've mentioned, if you're interested in the very basics of visualization, positive thinking in terms of the way you should be approaching things, this book is an okay start. As with all these books, and with all those people that believe like that, I'm afraid that life is a little more complicated than that. If you don't put together straight empowerments, if you're not doing things to empower these positive energy fields, these visualized thought forms, if you're not going to higher levels, you're going to manifest relatively poorly. Of course, if you're doing none of this and you use these techniques, you'll see an improvement. But if you expect to get into the big time, well, you got to get into big time practices. Big time practices is what the occult sciences are all about. Learn how to do these things, learn the techniques to remote view numbers, to draw huge amounts of success energies around you. Learn how to guide yourself to the proper numbers and to the proper scratch off tickets. This is where it's at. This kindergarten, preschool philosophy here is only going to take you very, very short distance.